You love the smell, the immaculate leather, the unblemished glass, the slow, satisfying peel of plastic film off a brand new screen. For one intoxicating moment, it feels like you've finally made it. Here's the uncomfortable truth about buying something brand new. The moment you experience it, the value is already gone. You didn't just buy a product. You paid a massive, invisible tax for the privilege of being the first person to touch it. Welcome to the Depreciation Sinkhole. Picture a Tuesday afternoon. You just got the promotion you spent 2 years chasing. You look at your older, reliable car, and suddenly it feels painfully inadequate. You look at your perfectly functional phone, and it feels sluggish. So you walk into the brightly lit dealership, sign the stack of paperwork, and drive off the lot in a gleaming $48,000 machine. Or you wait in line to drop $1,200 on the latest flagship phone. For a few days, there's an undeniable surge of pride. You feel successful. Then, the newness fades. The car becomes the metal box you sit in traffic in, commuting to the exact same job. The phone becomes the same piece of glass running the same apps. Then the first bill arrives, a $738 monthly payment. The thrill evaporates. What's left is a quiet, heavy anxiety. You aren't living a richer life. You're financing an illusion of one. We're culturally conditioned to read upgrade as a synonym for progress. But this isn't an accident. It's an engineered trap. The modern consumer economy depends on your dissatisfaction with things that still work perfectly. Manufacturers design around planned obsolescence, releasing new models with barely perceptible upgrades, engineered specifically to make your current model feel embarrassing by comparison. When a small scratch on a screen becomes your real justification for spending $1,200, you're no longer making a financial decision. You're making an emotional one, buying a temporary cure for a manufactured dissatisfaction that was never actually about the object. Here's the mathematics inside the sinkhole. The moment a new car's tires touch the public street, it's legally a used car and it drops to wholesale value instantly. On a typical $48,000 vehicle, that's roughly 20% gone before you've reached the first stoplight, about $9,600, vanished in minutes. By year 5, the average new car has lost around 60% of what you originally paid. To soften that loss, buyers increasingly stretch into 84-month, 7-year auto loans. Finance $35,000 at 8% over 7 years. And you'll pay roughly $10,600 in pure interest on a car that will likely be dented, scratched, and feeling old long before the loan is paid off. That gap between what you owe and what the car is worth is called negative equity. You become upside down, owing the bank more than the car could sell for, unable to walk away without paying cash just to cover the difference. The same trap runs through your electronics. Someone upgrading a flagship phone every 2 years is absorbing roughly $600 a year in pure depreciation. Extended across 3 decades, that pattern can add up to tens of thousands of dollars in spending that want nothing but a slightly better camera. That's money that could have quietly become your freedom instead. I want to be fair here because this isn't a case against ever buying anything new. Some new purchases are genuinely worth it. A car with modern safety features for a growing family, a work tool that pays for itself, a phone when the old one is actually failing, not just aging. The problem was never new. It's buying new specifically to outrun a feeling on a schedule set by a marketing department instead of an actual need. If you can comfortably absorb the depreciation and you're buying with intention, the sinkhole was never your trap to begin with. To step out of the sinkhole, use 2 filters. The first is the used car window. A 5-year-old car sits in a financial sweet spot. The original owner already absorbed the steepest years of depreciation for you. Modern vehicles routinely run 150,000 to 200,000 miles with basic maintenance. So buy reliable and 5 years old, drive it 3 or 4 more years, then sell before major repairs become likely. Skip the average $738 new car payment entirely, and that's roughly $9,000 a year you can redirect towards something that actually builds wealth instead of losing it. The second is the functional test. Before any upgrade, ask honestly, has this actually stopped working or has it just stopped feeling new? Boredom isn't a mechanical failure. Wait for genuine, unrepairable failure. And when you do need new technology, buy 1 or 2 generations behind the newest release, where a refurbished model does everything you actually need for half the price. We spend the prime decades of our lives chasing the fleeting high of being someone's first owner. But look closely at the people who actually have money. Multiple studies of everyday millionaires, the kind popularized by books like The Millionaire Next Door, found that the typical self-made millionaire drives a used Toyota, Honda, or Ford, often paying just over $31,000 for it. They understand the car is a utility, not a billboard. There's a word for the alternative. In Japanese aesthetics, wabi-sabi, a deep appreciation for things that are imperfect, aging, and still good. The scratched table, the scuffed shoe, the slightly outdated phone that still does exactly what you need. True wealth was never measured by the untouched shine of your leather seats. It's measured by optionality, the quiet confidence that your money is building your future instead of disappearing into someone else's depreciation curve. Because when you stop paying the premium for new, you step off a treadmill built specifically to keep you dissatisfied. And when you own your things, instead of letting your things own you, your world doesn't get smaller, your freedom gets larger.